Welcome back, everybody, to another night of Pro League here. We're about to jump into the second match of the night. It is going to be SBENU versus Samsung Galaxy Con.
This is going to be a much better match than the one we just saw. SBENU and Samsung on the cusp of making it to postseason, but just not yet secured. This win, definitely really important.
Oh, yeah. Hugely important for both of these teams. And this first match that we got coming up, guys, is going to be a doozy. DongRaeGu, who's just able to take out Sue recently with a nice all-in, going up against BrAvO, a meching superstar, usually very good in TVT, but also good against Zerg. And it's going to be on Vaani Research Station.
Now, I want to talk about the situation for these two teams going into Week 7, next week, the final week of regular season. Samsung will go against KT Rolster after this, so I feel like it's really important for them to win this, whereas SBENU's already taken really impressive wins, including the win over SKT with a 3-0 score, and they play against Prime next week. So they're almost guaranteed another win next week. Yeah, so the difficulty for the next week of these two teams much higher for Samsung, so today's match is really important. Keep in mind also KT Rolster did call out Stork yesterday. They really want him to come out in that final match. We'll see if he actually responds to Flash's challenge.
That's pretty funny. I don't believe he will, but it would be sickness if he actually did.
Unfortunately, there's no Vaani Research Station for him to try to make that work on, but I don't know. But, I think that today's match is going to be good. BrAvO versus DRG, the first match, a pretty important one, and I feel like the winner of this definitely sets the pace going into the rest of our matches.
Oh, yeah. And I struggle with this one a lot. The obvious one that, the obvious thing that points out, that you can point out pretty easily, is that BrAvO's on Vaani Research Station against the Zerg. He's going to be meching almost definitely, but DongRaeGu, also a very competent Zerg opponent. And I don't think it's a definite win here for BrAvO.
I wrote DRG, deleted it, wrote BrAvO, deleted BrAvO, wrote DRG, then deleted DRG and wrote BrAvO as my final answer.
Once.
I did it like 3 times. And I was like at the dentist with like my mouth numbed and stuff, and I was like, oh god, this is really stressful. I don't know what to do.
Well, you're more like,
yeah, exactly.
Something like that. And then for game number 2, Joxy versus Deer, also going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I feel like Deer pretty favored unless he tries to Colossus drop Joxy. And then going into the third one.
I don't trust Deer, man. I don't trust him.
Hurricane with a downward arrow, but MMA just really has not been impressing. His Code S performance was pretty weak. And then going into the last DBZ with Lenok versus Armani, it's just one of those matches where you think, we don't see Armani very often, probably for a reason.
Yeah, why exactly is he coming out here when it's extremely important for them to win? Maybe he's got something up his sleeves. Well, first time MMA is playing in round 4. It has been quite a while since we've seen this guy. And also BrAvO set a personal record for most wins in the regular season. So I guess with that last win that he got, he must have set that record.
Yep. So,
and the amount of wins that he does have is 10. For this season, so nicely done. He's 7-2 in TVT.
I feel the bigger viewpoint really for Samsung is that they have to play KT Rolster next week. I think that's the biggest thing to think about, because for SBENU, even a loss here, they might even be able to secure a 3-0 victory next time as well. Glad to have all of you down at the studio with those English headsets. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, nice to see you guys. I hope those things are working correctly. Sometimes you can get a bit of static in them, I know.
Yeah.
But
try your best to hear us.
Maybe they can't hear us anyway. Well, here is DRG. He is 7-2 in Pro League 2015, being grabbed onto the SBENU team, 2-0 against Terran.
And they're fielding him first. I think this is a really smart thing to do with DRG. We talked about this a lot yesterday. DRG, a type of player, you put him in a stressful situation, he's always going to underperform. One of his 2 losses was actually in round 3, where all SBENU had to do was win 1 game, just 1 game, and they would make it to the postseason. And DRG was a 3rd player, and he was playing against an opponent most people had said he was favored against, and he lost it because he was so emotional and so stressed out. And that's one of his 2 losses, but he's got an incredible record for not playing very often. I mean, 7-2, pretty impressive.
It's very nice. BrAvO himself also got a nice record here, 10-5, a personal best, and 3-2 versus Zerg. As I was talking about before, mainly a TVT sniper, kind of made a big name for himself in this season of Pro League by doing just that.
2-0, including unofficial games versus DRG, so he does have that positive record. This is going to be a great game. I'm actually pretty hyped for this one. I think this might be the one I'm most excited about of all today's matches.
This one and even the next one, because I voted on Jockey. I want to see how that goes. But guys, game number 1 here. As you said, extremely exciting. It could go either way. DRG versus BrAvO on Vaani Research Station. Down here in the south, in the pink, for SBENU, the Zerg player, it is DRG, DongRaeGu.
Up to the top in blue, it's BrAvO. The former SKT Terran now finding a very successful home on Samsung, kind of one of their key players.
Before we get into this one, I wanted to ask you, do you remember, was it BrAvO on this exact map where we're like, okay, it's BrAvO, it's Vaani Research Station, he's facing a Zerg, he's going mech, and then he went bio and crushed the guy? Was that BrAvO or was it some other Terran?
I want to say it was BrAvO. The only other Terran I would think of off that situation might have been like Sky High, but I want to say it was BrAvO. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it was at least a Samsung Terran, if that. And he was up against a decent Zerg player as well.
Yeah. Kind of look through.
We're searching the archives right now.
BrAvO's played mostly TVTs and most of his recent matches.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
Vaani Research Station versus Losira, and he crushed him. He played bio and he looked so strong.
That was just last week.
Yeah, Losira was having a bunch of trouble. I actually really enjoyed that game, and BrAvO showed me another side of himself. You know, definitely enjoys the mech and TVT for sure, but maybe likes to switch it up against Zerg depending. But we've said it time and again, this is a pretty nice map for mech, so I would be, again, surprised if he went for bio.
This is just in general a good map pool for mech. Actually, I want to ask you about this. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but we can get deep on it. This is something I talked to Moonglade about, and you as well, like kind of as we change through map pools. What do you think of the current map pool overall?
I think it's pretty decent. Overall, as you were saying before, definitely a lot of mech maps. You could just list them off. Vaani Research Station, Terraform, Echo. Those are the big 3. You got Coda there. It's pretty decent for mech as well.
Sure.
Other maps, for some reason, they're not coming to my mind right now.
I personally feel like the map pool is good. It's definitely better than the
Iron
current.
Fortress.
Yes.
There we go.
It's definitely better than the current ladder map pool. Significantly better in my opinion. But I feel we are really missing a King Sejong Station, a Daybreak, one of those maps, like Cloud Kingdom, where it's just this map where it's not really one style is really favored on it. It's like there's no absolutely neutral map in the pool. And that does make me sad, but either way, I think the pool is pretty solid overall. We do see a ton of in this specific round, especially we see a ton of repeated matchups on the same map because of how the map and the players are feeling about the map pool right now, or like how they're thinking like this is a Terran map, or this is a mech map, or this is a Protoss map, or this is a Zerg map.
Yeah, I mean, this map pool is good definitely for Korea because the Koreans love to do that. And we were actually talking about this before where they go almost all the time. It's like, this is a Terran map. A Terran is coming out here. If it's not going to be a Terran, I'm sending someone out there who's going to counter the Terran of the other team. And that's the only reason he's there. And sometimes you get players who are like, oh, I just really like the map. I want to come out on it. You know, like Keen on Echo, he'll usually just like play straight up bio there. He doesn't even play mech.
Yeah. You know, and I think sometimes every now and then, which I think we should see more often, I think this is a good decision by Legend, see players come out on a certain map, say first, because they don't want to put the player into a more stressful situation. I think that's part of the reason why we see DRG here.
I actually like DRG in the second spot. You know, even if the first game loses, he's not in that much pressure, and it's not that third game spot. First game is also okay, but I was looking at the maps, and the second map is Coda, so it's like, well, you're not going to put a Zerg up there usually.
Sure.
That's actually a PVT we have for that map. kind of makes sense.
It's interesting they would send them out knowing there's a high chance that they're going to face BrAvO here, who did just dismantle Lucira. Well, Lucira has more wins than DRG overall this season, but DRG's record is much better if you want to look at percentage-wise, win percent.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this before. Lucira at 14-13.
Yeah.
Almost 50%, but he's up there on the winner's board because he's played so many times.
He's
27 games.
He's gotten twice the points for MVP that DRG has gotten for SBENU. Well, we do have a fast third CC here. The Korean commentators kind of getting a bit excited about that. DRG is about to spot it. No scout deny here for BrAvO. So he's going to see this as he goes into his two-base Muta play.
Muta Pay is going to be interesting. Muta's usually pretty strong on this map. You got that backdoor base you can harass. There's a lot of dead airspace back there. And even behind it as well, and to the left of the main, and behind the main as well. There's just so many areas to put your Mutas. Even if you are going against mech, you can get a lot of harassment damage done early on in the game. It's a good idea. DRG loves to go for it. It makes sense to me.
DRG scouts the armory as well, despite BrAvO's best attempts to deny that scout, to deny... you know, with that Viking. So it is going to be mech, even though he did dismantle Lucira with Bio just last week on this very map. And versus a two-base Muta play, you know, well, it's not two-base Muta play, but it's a two-base layer into this Mutaless play. If he has a Thor out early with this quick armory, I think he should be able to defend it pretty fine. Does not yet have an engineering bay, something he will want, but he still has plenty of time to get it.
Yeah. Kind of interesting he's parking that the barracks on the tech lab. I guess he's going to switch that over to one of the factories eventually.
I think he wants him to perhaps see it and think that it's going to be a Bio Hellbat push, and he's going to Bio because he played Bio versus Lucira. I think it's just a mind game, but I think DRG knows what's up. He's already got a Roach Warren.
Well, here we go. 4 aliens coming into the back, as well as 6 Hellbats on creep.
Oh, man, a lot of damage already being done to this medevac. He's definitely going to have to micro that back, but it does tank these queens for quite a bit. So many transfuses available, however. Lings and a Spine Card, meanwhile, dealing with those Hellbats at the third base. Ooh. And BrAvO is being totally shut down right now.
Yeah, 100% shut down here. I don't even know if he killed one of these queens. One of them getting very low. He does finally get that kill. Looks like one other kill as well, but the Hellbat's getting totally surrounded on creep. Kind of a lackluster push there from BrAvO.
We killed like a few Zerglings and I think one queen, as you predicted.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting play. It's not, you know, any kind of big Hellbat timing with a bunch of Marines and stuff like that. It's just like as you have that third base, you can put on pressure and I guess eventually transition into that mech very comfortably on this gigantic two-player map.
I'll take a look at that production tab. DRG is getting +1 Carapace for his Mutalist. That means that with this upgrade, the Thor damage is going to be significantly reduced. The reason why Carapace upgrades are important versus attack upgrades are in very specific situations with Mutalist. Say, take Thor's, for example. They fire several shots, so that I think it's 4 shots to air, depending on which mode they're in. So it gets applied each time on each one of those shots, so the armor upgrade is 4 times as good versus a multi-shot unit. Also versus, say, Phoenixes. The reason why you'd want to have the attack upgrade is to be able to kill turrets very quickly and then, you know, get in, or to kill the Thor before it does its damage. This leads me to believe DRG might go into a more heavy Mutalist composition the later the game goes on.
Well, here we go, coming into the back door. That turret slightly late, gonna get a bit of damage. 4 SCVs going down, gonna pay for that with 1 Muta and take a gold base at the same time. I mean, yeah, eventually as well, when you're going up against mech, you may transition into a ton of air units, you know, Broodlords, Corruptors, stuff like that. So the air upgrades are definitely not going to be wasted the longer this game goes on. I mean, usually, as the Zerg has a lot of time, he makes 2 Spires and double upgrades. He
wants to hunt and kill these Mulas. He's going to try to bait them into these Thors. He's actually chasing now with these medevacs. He can control the Watchtower for a second.
Ooh.
Gets 1, almost 2.
It's pretty cute. We do have a nice little counterattack here with the Lings and Roaches coming in.
Yeah, and this is a big problem because there are Roaches here. As you said, these tanks need to siege up.
There they do siege up. They are going to have the Hellbats here to tank for the tanks, but at the same time, a bit of a drop going down at that gold base. May even be able to cancel it as all of DongRaeGu's units are attacking.
You know, this is actually really cool because BrAvO knows that the only way to deal with drops is usually going to be Mutalist. Roaches can come over here at a small number, though, are going to have a lot of problems. With these Vikings help zoning, he's like, yeah, I dare you to send your mutas to defend this hatch.
This is such a cool unit composition that he has over here.
I'm really liking this.
He's got to get those Hellbats here in the front. As you said before, the Vikings are just going to escort the medevacs so that the mutas can't really get on top of those Thors.
He's actually going to now drop in the main base, so the mutas have to come over here to chase. He's going to take the mutas out. Then he's going to fly back in and finish off the hatchery. Whoa. Watch this. He's going to come pick this up. He's going to kill that gold base.
Yeah, there he goes. There are a lot of roaches here.
But he can just pick up and then just stutter step micro or stutter pick up.
There's nothing to deal with the medevacs, so you can just continuously do this until those roaches, or rather the Thors, get really low. Look at that hatchery, really low as well.
He also didn't target it. He was fighting roaches instead, so the hatchery will live. But this Mutalist probably not going to. These units have +1, soon to have +2. Ooh, looks like he might actually end up losing these Vikings, though.
Yeah.
I like that chase with the Lings, because he's like, if you want to protect your Vikings with your Thors, I'm going to kill them with the Lings.
Yeah, you kind of got to do that. It's interesting that DongRaeGu making a bunch more of these mutas really wants to shut down that kind of play, it seems. Already getting nightmares about it.
He also knows that he's got the Carapace upgrades and have +1 attack for the Mutalist as well, so they're pretty heavily upgraded. So I like him, keeping a heavier Mutalist style.
Well, some Hellions coming in towards the 5th base. Not going to get too much damage, not too many drones over there. Is going to get a nice scan, though, of the timing of the Hive as well coming up here.
This game has already been quite a treat. I'm liking how both players are playing this. It's not your, bread and butter cookie cutter mech versus Zerg.
Look at the giant bank for DRG. He's got 91 drones. So he's mining off of 5 bases, probably saturated at almost all of them, and he's just banking up here for 18 Mutalists.
Remember what I said earlier? I was saying I think he's going to go heavy on the mutas because he already has that upgrade for the anti-Thor, a Nidus network as well, which we really don't know yet what that's going to be for.
Well, maybe he's going to go for the back door. He'll escort with the mutas. There's not going to be much over here. Missile turret's not going to save this tank. Just a bit late. Some Vikings and Thors now being escorted over.
You know what's interesting? If he brings roaches with a Nidus and protects the Nidus until the roaches get out and the roaches kill the Thors, he might just be able to win the game with Mutalist because there's no more Thors anymore, and he's got this massive Mutalist count.
Yeah, and you're trying to transfer a bunch of your tanks over to deal with the roaches at the back door, but here we go.
This is a great move. I really, really like the way that DRG is approaching this game. Nidus network in the main base. The second Spire coming up, so the transition is going to be into those Broodlords. The roaches can pop out here. He's got 18 of them.
Already 21 SCVs going down. He's going to deny the +3 weapons, and he's got so many mutas that are very heavily upgraded coming right on top of that Terran army.
He's just going to try to magic box these Thors. And look at this, roaches coming now to support. And this is actually just way too much damage. He might be able to win off of this.
He's just killing so many of these mech units. All the tanks that came over, just like I said, to try to deal with the roaches. They're being taken out one by one, and he just never expected this big of a swell of mutas to come over with a Nidus in the back door.
Yeah.
Very uncommon.
Now he's up 50 supply. He's just continuing to make mutas. Kills the CC. Now kill a bunch of depots. The supply block. BrAvO potentially.
BrAvO just needs to hang on, man.
Yeah, he does still have those other mining bases and a ton of mules to drop, so losing SCVs isn't the problem, but losing this CC itself is going to be a big issue gas-wise for him right now. Look at this, kiting his way back, killing a few more Hellbats.
Actually, some Mr. Rally mutas coming over there, but we'll just trade out here. Going to make just more and more mutas. I mean, he's mining right now on 10 gases. That's pretty insane. That's the only reason why he's able to go for this heavy of a muta comp.
He's got now +2 attack for the mutas. I think this is actually going to be game. He doesn't have enough anti-air anymore. These Thors, several of them are low. The medevacs that are lifting them are low as well. Good attempt to micro here from BrAvO. Even fighting under a turret right now is DRG, but I think this is actually just going to be game-ending damage. He's now camping the production. And it was just a Muta-Nidus timing attack, pretty standard.
Muta Nidus off a 5 base, totally fine. Like, seen it many times, right, Wolf?
Yeah. And now, of course, with the passive the Mutalists have with the regen, he's just going to be able to regen those and come back for another attack with 11 more Mutalists, which is going to put him at a total of 32.
The Speedling run by into the main that's about to happen from that backdoor Nidus. That's coming up once again. Loading him up.
Just again, continue to camp that production, kill any Thor that comes out. This turret, forest over here, to use a Moonglade term, is a good idea, but it's just too late. Yeah. Just barely too late.
If he could have gotten those up maybe a minute or so earlier, he would have been in a decent spot. It does look like those lings have been cleaned up, but once you get this much momentum with 23 mutas, you can just continuously jump onto these meching units. There's just not enough stuff to deal with the mutas. And now the planetary should be able to go down here.
He's like going to trade 1 muta for a planetary. That's pretty okay. That's pretty good.
Well, repair going to come down, but he's just barely keeping it alive, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Down to 28 SCVs now is BrAvO, still struggling to deal with the mutas in the sky.
It's such a funny place for the eBay to be as well, researching building armor to help those turrets, help with the planetaries. BrAvO has right now 4 orbitals and 2 CCs. Third CC not completed building. So he has the ability to remake his economy, but he does not have the ability to remake his army because his production is capped. And this is going to be the last nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that should be it. All of the hovering we did over DRG, we didn't believe. But DRG looking fantastic once again. Very nicely prepared idea on the map as well.
You know, I really was on the fence about the prediction for this one, but such a great play from DRG.
Yeah. This is why this was just such a fantastic game to start off with, because, you know, it really could have gone either way.
Well, this is the way it went. DRG now doubling BrAvO's supply. No amount of Dream Thor Micro is going to save him here.
It's got to be a smirk from DRG. Really, really nice builds, and he is going to take game number 1 and keep Spanish hopes alive here in this match.
Well, I gotta say, guys, I mean, like I said before, this is the most important match for Samsung, not so much for SBENU. Already having this lead, this momentum going into this one, it's pretty scary. Wouldn't want to be on that Samsung bench right now.
Yeah, really scary spot to be in. You know, before the game even started, these guys were chatting, and BrAvo's like, oh, I have to meet you at this moment in time. Why did it have to happen like this? Seems like BrAvO definitely showing a lot of respect towards DRG, and he definitely deserves it. He's slowly coming back. The DRG dream is real.
8-2. 8-2 right now in Pro League matches.
Yeah, and every time he comes out, I feel like, kind of like, reminds me of Rogue, but he's even more prepared, where he comes out for these best of ones and he just stomps. He's an emotional guy. Maybe he's not going to do as well in a best of 3, best of 5, but he comes out every day and we see something new, a new exciting strategy here against the mech, which a lot of Zergs have been having trouble against. BrAvO, a fantastic meching Terran too, but he got totally surprised with that one.
Yeah. Now, going into our next match, it's going to be Joxy versus Deer. All that extra sort of momentum that Joxy has now. Deer's downward arrow, his failed style attempt last game he played. I feel like Joxy could do this.
Yeah. I was on the fence about this one as well. Deer, from time to time, you look at him and you're like, he's a great player. He could come out here and he should be favored against where Joxy is nowadays. You know, not quite the GSL champion. I mean, he is, but like he's not playing at that kind of form anymore. Slowly trying to get back in here. One of the things I really like for Joxy in this game is the map. It's going to be Coda.
Yeah, I feel like if Deer plays standard, he should be able to take this, but he's been showing us some weird plays, some sort of interesting ideas about how he wants to play the matchup, like these Colossi drops that are still yet to be successful at the highest level here in Korea. Yeah. That's how Joxy secured his most recent win against Stats, was by defending a Colossus drop and then counterattacking.